Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to give you the Quinn Aquarium tour and why this dam is retiring from Pogo. Let's go to the tropical reef fish. Let's start with clownfish. The clownfish, also known as the anemone fish, lives in the tropical waters of the Indian and Pacific Oceans. They share a symbiotic relationship with the sea anemone. The poisonous anemone protects the clownfish from predators, and the clownfish protects the anemone from parasites. Here's some fun facts about clownfish. All clownfish are born males. When the lead female dies, the largest male changes into a female. And thanks to a layer of mucus on the clownfish's skin, they are immune to the lethal poison of the anemones they call home. Up next is the surgeonfish. Surgeonfish love to hide amongst the coral reefs of the Indo-Pacific region. The coral actually gets something in return for providing this safe home. Surgeonfish feast on the algae that could potentially suffocate the coral. It sounds like a perfect match. Here's some fun facts about the surgeonfish. When threatened, surgeonfish will play dead, floating motionless on the side until the danger has passed. And surgeonfish get their name from their scalpel-like spines. Up next is the pufferfish. There are many species of pufferfish. Hold on, let me turn this down a bit. Okay, there are many species of pufferfish, but they all have one thing in common. They can fill their stomachs with a huge amount of water and sometimes air to inflate their bodies to several times their normal size. They need this to protect themselves from predators because they're otherwise pretty clumsy swimmers. Here's some fun facts about the pufferfish. Most pufferfish are extremely poisonous, with a single fish containing enough toxins to kill many people. And despite the poison, specially prepared pufferfish are eaten as a delicacy in Japan. And we have a very licensed chef in order to do that. A highly licensed chef. Up next is the seahorse. There are more than 50 species of seahorse, but they all have that classic horse-like appearance. They are indeed fish, but instead of scales, they have thick skin stretched over bony plates. They are very poor swimmers and will often be found with their tail wrapped around something, so they don't drift off when resting. And here are some fun facts about the seahorse. The male seahorse takes care of the eggs in an abdominal pouch until they're ready to hatch. And the eyes of a seahorse can move independently of each other. Up next is the red claw crab. The red claw crab is found in mangrove swamps in Asia, where rivers flow into the sea. They can therefore tolerate both fresh water and salt water, although they prefer a brackish mix of both. They are not fully aquatic and live on the sandy land as well in the water. They are one of the smaller crab species and are often referred to as mini crabs. And here's some fun facts about the red claw crab. As the red claw crab grows, it will shed its exoskeleton, often hiding in rocky crevice while the new shell hardens. And they'll eat just about anything, including their discarded exoskeleton. Alright, where is my mouse? Oh, right there. Oh. Up next, the margarita snail. The margarita snail is found from the Bering Sea to the southern California. They are often found hiding in kelp beds. There they find a safe haven from predators such as crabs and sea stars. When attacked by a sea star, the snail will try to run away at less than 4 inches per minute. If a crab attacks, they will simply withdraw into the shell. Into the shell. I cannot speak. And here are some fun facts about margarita snail. Margarita snails are voracious algae eaters. They are therefore very popular in home aquariums to keep annoying algae under control. Up to 40 snails per square foot can be found in thick kelp beds. This one? Yes, I have. Okay. Up next is the sea anemone. Although it looks more like a plant, the sea anemone is actually an animal. It calmly attaches itself to a rock and catches passing prey with its poisonous tentacles. It can also slide along slowly using its adhesive foot, called a pedal disc. There are over 1,000 species of sea anemone in the world's oceans. All of them are invertebrates, because they have no bones. Here's some fun facts about sea anemones. Most sea anemones are only poisonous to their prey. However, there are a few that are so toxic that they are lethal to humans. And some sea anemones can live to the ripe old age of 50. I've already done that one. Okay, I've done that one. This is one that I've done. Finally, for the tropical reef fish, we got the Pacific Reef. The reefs of the Pacific are home to a myriad of sea creatures. The reef itself is created by coral, an animal that is related to the jellyfish and anemone. Huge colonies of coral secrete hard exoskeletons, which over time can create masses of limestone that stretch for hundreds of miles. These masses form the basis of a thriving ecosystem. Here are some fun facts about the Pacific Reef. The world's largest coral reef, the Great Barrier Reef, situated off the coast of Australia, is 1,400 miles long. And a coral reef can support thousands of different aquatic species. Up next, the jellyfish tank. Now first we got the moon jelly. The moon jelly is the most common type of jellyfish. Capable of only the limited motion of its own, it drifts beneath with the help of ocean currents. Moon jellies use their nebulocyst-laden string tentacles to capture prey and direct it to their gastrovascular cavity for consumption. Here's some fun facts about the moon jelly. Moon jellies have no circulatory, respiratory, or excretory systems. And the aorta species of moon jelly is capable of growing younger rather than older. Next is the comb jelly. Comb jellies, also known as Ctenophora or Ctenophora, are the largest animals that use the tiny hair-like structures called cilia as their primary means of propulsion. Their outer surface is covered in comb rows, each bearing multiple comb plates of cilia. In fact, Coniferous is Greek for comb bearing. Here's some fun facts about comb jelly. One species of comb jelly can swim 6 times faster than usual to evade predators. Most comb jellies are bioluminescent, but the rainbow effect inside them is caused by light being scattered as their combs move. Up next is the Pacific sea nettle. The telltale sign of the Pacific sea nettle is its golden brown, reddish bell that can grow beyond 1 meter in diameter, although most do not exceed 50 centimeters across. The multitude of arms and tentacles can extend behind them by as much as 15 feet. Here are some fun facts about the Pacific sea nettle. Small fish and crabs will sometimes hide in a sea nettle's belt and even feed on it. The sting of a sea nettle is usually irritating, but rarely poses serious danger to humans. Finally, the jellyfish. From shallow waters to the furthest depths of the ocean, jellyfish can be found in coastal areas the world over. Of the more than 2,000 different types of jellyfish, only about 70 of them are capable of harming humans. There are potentially hundreds of thousands of jellyfish species as yet undiscovered. Here's some fun facts about jellyfish. Jellyfish are considered a delicacy in some cultures, and their natural habitat, most jellyfish are transparent enough to effectively be invisible. Up next, mangrove tank or mangrove habitat. First, we got the mangrove trees. Mangrove trees live and thrive in areas with brackish, salty water, tolerating water up to 100 times saltier than most of the plants can survive. Mangroves can be found in coastal areas all over the world. Here are some fun facts about the mangrove tree. Some mangrove trees secrete excess salt through glands in their leaves, leaving them covered in salt crystals. Mangrove seeds can stay afloat for up to a year before finding ideal conditions to take root. Up next is the Mayan cichlid. The Mayan cichlid is a robust species that can live in a variety of conditions, not just the brackish and salty waters common to mangrove swamps. Here are some fun facts about the Mayan cichlid. The Mayan cichlid is so robust, it's actually considered a potential pest fish due to the wide range of conditions it can live in, potential exposed to native fauna. And they are considered very good for eating. And at up to 16 inches long, they can make for a hearty meal. Up next is a shark catfish. The shark catfish is a predatory species that become increasingly aggressive as they grow. Although omnivorous, they tend to eat meat most frequently, including smaller fish, crabs, shrimp, and worms. Here's some fun facts about the shark catfish. The shark catfish can be a dangerous tank mate. It's able to swallow as much as 67% of its body length. The endangered Mekong giant catfish is one of the largest freshwater fish in the world, reaching up to nearly 9 feet in length. Up next is the rosy rat snake. The rosy rat snake, also known as the Rhodoke's corn, is part of the corn snake family but has much less black coloration and more of a slender profile than most other corn snakes. They love to hide, but don't be afraid of them. They aren't venomous. Here's some fun facts about the rosy rat snake. Though they typically eat muscle rats, some rosy rat snakes have been spotted eating birds. And also, they are amazing climbers, and have been known to climb fences and even buildings. What up this one? Yeah, another one. Okay, up next is the diamondback terrapin. Diamondback terrapins are native to the brackish marshes typically found along the eastern and southern coasts of the United States. Several adapted traits allow them to live in extremely salty water for extended periods of time. Here's some fun facts about the diamondback terrapin. A terrapin will sometimes raise its head and open its mouth in the rain to catch a drink of fresh water. They are considered a delicacy in the early 1900s. A terrapin dinner back then would be the equivalent of $100 today. Dang! And finally, for the mangrove habitat is a green anole. The green anole is a member of the Carolina anole family and native to the southeastern United States. It is called the American chameleon because it can change color from brown to green, but it is not a true chameleon, more closely related to the iguana. Here are some fun facts about the green anole. The green anole is so territorial it has been seen trying to fight its own reflection. And blue-faced green anoles are the rarest of all. Only 1 in 20,000 individuals in the wild mutate this way. Up next is the nursery/lab. And I don't think there's anything for me here to click on. So I'm just going to let this go for a few seconds and then we'll move on to the next. Okay. Up next is the touch pool. And first we have the seaweed. Seaweed comes in many shapes, sizes, and especially colors. Red, green, and brown marine algae are the most common, and blue-green algae is sometimes considered seaweed as well. Both sea lettuce and dead man's fingers are green algae. Here are some fun facts about seaweed. Sea lettuce is commonly eaten by sea animals, but can also be eaten by humans. And dead man's fingers got their nickname by hanging down from rocks during low tide. Sea stars, also known as starfish, sea stars can vary greatly in size and appearance. Most are predatory, eat snails, sponges, algae, and other small animals. They are some of the oldest creatures in the sea, dating back to nearly 500 million years. Here's some fun facts about sea stars. While most starfish have 5 arms, many have 6, 7, or even 15. One particular species can have over 50. Many species can regenerate lost limbs, while some are able to grow entirely new bodies from fragments less than 1 inch long. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting on. Up next is the sea cucumber. Sea cucumbers are common fixtures on the seafloor all over the world. With over 1,700 species worldwide, They use their open tentacles to capture food, usually plankton and other decaying organic matter. Here are some fun facts about the sea cucumber. In order to hide, a sea cucumber can virtually liquefy itself, then slide to a crevice and become rigid again. And they got their name from looking like cucumbers, but most species are also eaten just like real cucumbers. The giant chitin. Giant chitins are a common type of invertebrate marine mollusks. They are typically just over 4 inches long, but some can grow to almost 7 inches. They also have tufts of short hairs attached to them. And here's some fun facts about the giant chitin. Giant chitins can tell time. They like to hide under rocks during the day, then emerge at night. Their scientific name is almost as prehistoric as they look. Dinoplax gigas. Up next is the bat ray. Bat rays are part of the eagle rays, family, and live mainly in the eastern Pacific Ocean, but can also be found near the Galapagos Islands. Being euryhaline, gosh dang it, I cannot speak. Euryhaline. They can survive in fresh, salt, or brackish water. The largest have a wingspan of nearly 6 feet. And here's some fun facts about the bat ray. Bat rays will sometimes dig trenches up to 8 inches deep to expose buried prey, like clams. And just like their long wingspan, bat rays also have a long lifespan, up to 23 years. And finally, for the touch pond, whatever, we got the horned frog. South American horned frogs have a very distinctive round shape and large mouth, reminiscent of a very popular video game character. I think they're talking about Frogger. Anyways, going back to the topic. They're usually happy to sit in water or cover themselves in loose, moist substrate and just hang out. Here's some fun facts about the horned frog. Big frog means big appetite. They sometimes eat mice, small reptiles, other frogs, or even their own mates. And they're such voracious eaters, they occasionally try to eat things too big to fit in their huge mouths. Up next, the main entrance. Wait, here's some more here. The Pacific Coast Kelp Forest. Nearly 1/3 of the kelp forests in Southern California are located in the Channel Islands, where swelling warm and cold water currents foster an ideal habitat for highly diverse marine life to thrive. Within just the last 5 years, the kelp forests have been reduced by almost 90% due to the overpopulation of the purple sea urchin, which eat nothing but kelp. And finally, the animals for the Pacific Coast Kelp Forest. The Pacific Coast Kelp Forest is home to a wide diversity of species, including the California scorpionfish, the copper rockfish, kelp bass, and kelp crabs in this display. And here's some fun facts about the kelp forest animals. The scorpion fish and rockfish share many similarities, but the former is only one with venomous spines. Kelp bass aren't venomous, but they have been known to bite humans, and kelp crabs tend to be the color of kelp they eat. Up next, the courtyard. Alright, I don't think there's anything here for me to click on. Or me play random level. So I'm gonna let this go for a few seconds and then we will move on to the next. Up next is my favorite one, the Antarctic enclosure. You can probably tell why it's my favorite. Let's first talk about the gentoo penguins. It is estimated that there are currently over 600,000 gentoo penguins spread across several Antarctic islands, including the Falkland Islands, Heard Islands, and the South Shetland Islands, as well as the Antarctic Peninsula. Gentoo penguins breed on surfaces free of ice, such as shoreline or even much further inland, usually nesting between patches of grass. Their nests are usually made from piles of stones, and gentoos have been known to battle over desirable ones, especially when trying to impress a mate by giving one as a gift. Next is a chinstrap penguin. Excuse me. If you see a chinstrap penguin, well, be ready to run. They are notoriously ill-tempered and likely the most aggressive of all penguin species. But that doesn't mean they aren't loving parents. Chinstrap mothers and fathers take turns incubating and raising their young, which generally leave their nests and head out to sea about 2 months after they're born. Though it is estimated that there are more than 8 million chinstrap penguins worldwide, their overall numbers are likely to be decreasing. This is probably due to the effects of climate change and other natural events that diminish the amount of food available to them. And finally, my favorite kind of penguins, the emperor penguins. Emperor penguins are truly the kings of all penguin species, and have earned their name by being the tallest and heaviest penguins in the world. They are also extremely unique when it comes to breeding and how they manage to survive it. And though almost all the estimated 550,000 plus emperor penguins live in the Antarctic, stragglers have been found as far as New Zealand. They tend to live in colonies that are somewhat mobile. Some have disappeared entirely over time, making it difficult to tell just how much of their population decline is due to non-human factors. Up next, the Learning Lab. Up first, we got mantis shrimp. Mantis shrimps can be truly frightening to see. Though most only reach 4 inches in length. Some can grow as big as 15 inches. And on top of being huge, they can be pretty mean too. They are sometimes called thumb splitters due to their ability to strike and inflict painful wounds. Next we have the glass frog. Not all glass frogs have see-through skin, but for those that do, you can see almost all the internal organs. They typically live in trees and only come out of hiding during mating season. And finally, there's 2 more. Next we have the mangrove tree crab. Excuse me. Mangrove tree crabs are quite small, barely an inch long. Mangrove tree makes up most of their diet, but they will happily eat animals such as nematodes due to the leaves being so low in nutritional value. And finally, the feather star. Feather stars, also known as crinoids, start their lives attached to the sea bottom with a stem. They'll become free swimming adults. They don't actually have stomachs, so when they eat, the food simply circulates through the body. Let's run to the gift shop. I don't think there's anything here for me to click on. So let this up for a few seconds and then move on to the next. Up next, the camouflage tank. Let this go for a few seconds. We'll move on to read the facts about this. The stonefish. You're safe from it here, but beware of the stonefish in the wild. It is the most venomous fish in the world, and also one of the best camouflage, which can turn an accidental step into a surprisingly unpleasant experience. Make sure to keep your eyes peeled on land too, because they can survive for up to 24 hours on land. May be mistaken as rocks or coral to the untrained eye. Here's a fun fact about the stonefish. Have you witnessed the excruciating pain caused by stonefish for hundreds of years? Aborigines perform an ancient dance ritual as a lesson to teach others about the dangers of this creature. Up next is a frogfish. Frogfish aren't related to frogs, although their skin has no scales. So they at least have that in common. This leaves them relatively unprotected against predators, so frogfish camouflage themselves to avoid detection, often resembling nearby rocks and coral. When hunting, they sometimes mimic whatever their prey likes to snack on, then strike when the bamboozled creatures move in to make their own attack. And here's a fun fact about frogfish. There are more than 47 species of frogfish, and many of them can grow hair and become hairy frogfish, although this is not a different species in itself. Up next, the leafy sea dragon. Named so because of their similarity to the mythical dragon, leafy sea dragon is one of the more unique looking underwater creatures you ever see, if you can see them at all, that is. The seaweed-like growths on this leafy sea dragon's skin help to disguise them as pieces of floating seaweed, leaving them largely ignored by predators. They also have the ability to change color to blend in with their surroundings. Here's a fun fact about leafy sea dragons. They are completely independent at birth and began hunting as babies. Up next is the pipefish. Appearing like an elongated seahorse, the pipefish is a very odd creature indeed. Most pipefish species are weak swimmers and can't easily protect themselves if their habitat is disturbed, which makes the armor-like plating over most of their bodies a very useful adaptation. They have no teeth, so they suck in whatever prey they can to eat. Here's a fun fact about pipefish. Male pipefish handle about almost every aspect of parenting, including holding the eggs and feeding their babies after they hatch. Up next is the sea slug. Unlike land slugs and their differences from land snails, sea slugs are actually sea snails. It's just that in most cases, the sea slug's shell is very small or become an internal shell. A sea slug's bright colors can help it avoid predators, but also warns other animals to avoid the yucky taste if eaten, or the painful stain if touched. And here's a fun fact about sea slug. One species of sea slug has quite recently evolved into a land-dwelling animal. Next up, the sand star. Sometimes simply known as starfish, sand stars are happiest burrowing and hiding in the sand. But don't mistake this lazy behavior as a normal state. In fact, sand stars can move with surprising speed, especially if you've only seen them lounging around. Sand stars eat almost any living creature they can capture, swallowing whatever they can find whole and spitting out anything they can digest. Sometimes this can take more than a day. Here's a fun fact about the sand star. Some sand stars end up with tiny parasitic snails living on their bodies. They may even try to lay eggs on the sand star while camping out. Up next, the sand goby. The sand goby is a particular little fish indeed. Part of their unusual look comes from the fact that their heads are almost 25% of their total length. Sand gobies use their camouflage to hide when hunting, laying still at the bottom of the sea and waiting until the prey swims close enough to strike, never seeing them until it's too late to escape. And here's a fun fact about the sand goby. During breeding season, male sand gobies will create a nest relative to their size. Bigger is not always better. Excuse me. And finally, for the masters of camouflage, whatever, is the sand flounder. Unlike the flounder they become, a sand flounder starts life as round larvae with eyes on either side of its head. As they develop, the left eye moves to the right side of the body, then remains there while their body flattens out. Swimming during this transition is a difficult adjustment, so sand flounders allow themselves to sink to the bottom and swim under the sides. And here's a fun fact about the sand flounder, whatever. When spawning, a single female sand flounder can lay up to 500,000 eggs. Up next, Stamps Play Zone. I don't think there's anything in here for me to click on. Nope, there isn't. Let this go for a few seconds and then move on to the next. Alright. Up next, the Snack Zone. First we have the Chocolate Chip Sea Star, also known as the Chocolate Chip Starfish or the Horned Sea Star. Chocolate chip sea stars are easy to spot thanks to their resemblance to actual chocolate cookies. They don't look very appetizing to their predators, though. In fact, the protrusions on the bodies look very dangerous and unappetizing to underwater snackers. They'd also make huge amount of cookies, given that they can grow to over a foot in diameter. They probably also won't taste as good as a cookie, since their diet is mostly sponges and detritus. And here's some fun facts about the chocolate chip sea star. All sea stars can regrow lost limbs, but some chocolate chip sea stars have been found with 6 arms instead of 5. And the protrusions on their bodies are so effective at deterring predators that many smaller animals hide on their bodies for protection. Up next, the Italian quote-unquote seafood. Believe it or not, sea spaghetti is actually edible. It's even a bit chewy, like regular spaghetti. And if the pizza crust were really a pizza, it wouldn't feed very many people. They usually grow to be about 2 inches long. And in China, the dark red sea cucumber is a delicacy for special occasions. They can be served fried, dried, or even pickled. Next is a likely named fish for breakfast? Question mark. Anyways, watching a pancake batfish walk is definitely a strange sight to see. Their feet are actually their fins. Tomato clownfish don't get their name from clowning around. In fact, they can be downright combative, so watch your manners around them. And known some as egg yolk jellies, fried egg jellyfish look like they'd make a very big omelet. They usually measure about 2 feet wide. And finally, the fruits of the sea. The sea apple gets its name from obviously looking a bit like a real apple. But don't eat one though. If threatened, they can release toxins or blast out their entrails to attack. To the side here we got the orange-pilled doris. It is a bright-colored new branch that has something in common with real oranges. Its quote-unquote rind doesn't taste very good. Any predator not smart enough to avoid them may get a toxic surprise. Finally, sometimes known as a nightfish due to its armor-like place. The pineapple fish has an even weirder feature: bioluminescent bacteria inside its mouth that use the light to help find them small shrimp to eat. Up next, the deep sea. Up first, we got the black dragonfish. Do you ever have nightmares about things you aren't sure are there? If you live underwater, the black dragonfish would haunt your dreams, no doubt. Luckily for humans, these fish usually live between 500 and 2,000 meters below the surface of the water, though females do rise near the surface at night to hunt and avoid predators. Here's some fun facts about black dragonfish. You can't see the infrared light they cast, but they can, which allows them to use their own light to hunt. And males of this species can be 8 times shorter than the largest females. They exist only to reproduce, as they have no digestive system. Up next, the firefly squid. These unique creatures can be found in large numbers of the coastal waters of Japan. They are able to use their natural bioluminescence in very unique ways, allowing them to better see their predators and also attract small fish to eat. And speaking of eating, these squid are widely considered a delicacy, and are commercially fished in catches, numbering their tons due to their sheer volume. Excuse me. And here's some fun facts about firefly squid. Firefly squid get their name from the blue light they emit, similar to a firefly, except underwater. And to avoid predators, they can use their light-emitting abilities to match the light below them to the light above them, going for hiding in plain sight. Up next, the anglerfish. Let's just say it, these things are creepy. Anglerfish come straight out of a bad dream, but luckily for you, they aren't going to draw you in with their bioluminescent lure and then swallow you whole. They're fighting at any size, but females are significantly larger than males and sometimes take them on as symbiotic partners. Just imagine how scary that two-headed monster looks. Here's some fun facts about the anglerfish. Anglerfish have been known to hunt upside down, that is, floating with their bill pointing down, then capturing the prey without flipping around. And their jaws and stomachs are large enough to capture and consume prey up to twice their own size. Up next, the deep sea tube worms. These tube worms are some of the truly amazing wonders of the underwater world. They live and somehow thrive near hydrothermal vents and temperatures that reach over 600 degrees Fahrenheit. Not only that, but they live off the symbiotic bacteria that thrive inside them. They are truly unique and far more complicated than they appear. Here's some fun facts about the deep sea tube worms. These creatures weren't discovered until 1977 by researchers in a submersible similar to the one in this tank. These tube worms grow faster than any other known marine invertebrate. They can reach full maturity in a new environment in as little as 2 years. Up next, the deep sea anemones. Anemones can be very dangerous creatures. Being related to both corals and jellyfish, it's no surprise that they sting, and when they do, they mean it. They'll use their tentacles to capture prey, then sting it to disable and fully digest it. You wouldn't be a meal for that one. But let them near your fish dinner and you might go hungry. Here's some fun facts about deep sea anemones. Anemones are actually named after the flowering plant found on land, and for good reason. They are just as colorful and beautiful. And the term garbage in, garbage out is at least half true for anemones, given that they eat with the same orifice that they release waste from. Up next, the deep sea crinoids. they look just like plants, so you might be surprised to learn that crinoids are living animals. These particular crinoids are usually called sea lilies. Crinoids eat by capturing particles of food in their sticky arms, then moving those particles along their arms and into their hidden mouth. And here's some fun facts about deep-sea crinoids. Crinoids can regrow their arms or their large portions of their bodies, which is useful after being hunted and eaten by predatory fish. And in England, near Clitheroe, crinoids were so plentiful that some limestone beds found there were formed almost exclusively from them. Up next, the vampire squid. Okay, let's get to the big question. No, vampire squid doesn't suck blood. They actually eat detritus that's in the water, which makes them pretty harmless. In fact, it takes a lot to make a vampire squid go into defense mode. They turn inside out, blast out a cloud of bioluminescent mucus for up to 10 minutes, and then escape before the predator can find them. Here's some fun facts about the vampire squid. Vampire squid will sometimes sacrifice their arms to predators to escape, knowing they can regrow them. And the vampire squid was unknown until 1899, when it was found on an expedition seeking to prove that marine life could exist below 1800 feet. Up next, the giant isopod. Looks can sometimes be deceiving, but in this case they aren't. Giant isopods are indeed related to the common pillbug, though they're definitely not the same size. In fact, giant isopods are usually between 7 and 20 inches long. Probably not something you want to poke and see whether it rolls up into a gigantic, frightening ball. And here's some fun facts about the giant isopod. Giant isopods have been known to survive without food for as long as 5 years, given the chance a starving isopod will eat to the point of being unable to move. The diet of a giant isopod is usually dead fish, squid, or even whales. But they have been known to eat living creatures as well, even a dog shark. And finally, this one, plastic waste. Plastic pollution is a real and significant concern in today's world, and not a problem that is easily solved. Plastic degrades slowly, and as more and more of it enters the ecosystem, the more likely marine animals are to eat it, become succulent, or be poisoned by the various chemicals contained in it. Efforts are underway to reduce plastic usage and remove it from the environment, but there could be more plastic than fish in the oceans by weight by 2050. Here are some unfun facts. It's estimated that a single plastic bottle can take up to 450 years to fully decompose. And almost 10 billion tons of plastic have been made from 1950 to 2017, with more than half of that total being produced since 2004. Next, the awards night. Oh, there's some things I can click here, right? Yeah, right there. Up first, we have the ghost shark. Somewhere between a fish and an actual shark, the ghost shark is a mysterious creature indeed. Swimming using their fins rather than their tails, they scour the bottom of the sea for food, protecting themselves from would-be attackers with a venomous spine near the back of their head. And here's some fun facts about the ghost shark. They have some of the wildest adaptations of any creature in the sea. Gills on gills only gills on only one side of their body, nostrils and rat-like teeth, among other oddities. And ghost sharks tend to stay low and out of sight, but that doesn't stop them from having some of the best eyes in the ocean. Their eyes can even perceive color just like ours do. Up next, we're going back to the clownfish and anemone. You may have learned on how these two work together from the movies, for example, Finding Nemo. But there's more to this relationship than you realize. Working in tandem is how they both survive. The clownfish protecting the anemone from predators, and the anemone helping to feed and protect the clownfish. They are a perfect match. Here's some fun facts about how the clownfish and anemone work together. And just like in the movies, male clownfish guard the eggs, though not for their entire life. They will for up to 10 days, but after that, it's sink or swim time. And if a clownfish didn't have the mucus layer surrounding them, they wouldn't be able to deal with the anemone stings. Instead, they would just die, just like most other sea creatures that dare cross their paths. And finally, the vampire fish. The details of the vampire fish are almost as weird as it looks. They don't start life sucking blood. In fact, they live the first few years eating plankton and detritus. They later migrate to a lake or sea to feed on hapless fish unable to defend against these lampreys' blood-sucking powers. Here are some fun facts about vampire fish. A single lamprey kills up to 40 pounds of fish during the 12 to 18 months they spend feeding. Then they return to the river to spawn and die. And lampreys are considered a delicacy in some countries, and were once annually presented as gifts to royalty in the form of lamprey pie. In fact, Queen Elizabeth was presented one at her coronation in 1953. I'm not done with this video yet. Getting there though. Up next, the ancient ocean. We have a ton of things on here. These may not be in order by the whether the story went, but I'm going to try my best. Match exactly. First, we got the sea sponge. You might think of the sea sponge as a simple plant, but it's actually a living animal. Sea sponges float freely about the sea as juveniles, but latch onto a surface as adults and remain attached for the rest of their lives. Most sponges only live for a few years, but some tropical and deep water species can live for 200 years or more. And here's some fun facts about sea sponges. They are as non-live as an animal can be, given that they have no head, eyes, arms, legs, nerves, muscles, brain, or organs. And as simple as they are, some species of sponge have developed antifungal, antibacterial, and even anti-cancer properties. Up next, the nautilus. You may not be able to tell from looking at it, but the nautilus is actually a soft-bodied creature living inside a hard shell with many chambers. By filling and emptying different chambers with water, the nautilus controls its buoyancy and definitely directs itself using jet propulsion. And here's some fun facts about it. Known as a living fossil, the Nautilus, or creatures similar to it, have existed for nearly 500 million years. The Nautilus can close itself entirely inside its own shell for protection, with special tentacles acting like a hood to keep it safe. Up next, the coelacanth. Once thought to be an example of a living fossil with no close living family, the coelacanth is actually still evolving, even though the first known fossil dates back to 410 million years. It wasn't until 1938 that a coelacanth was discovered alive, even though scientists were certain they had been extinct for 66 million years. And here's some fun facts for the coelacanth. If you think you might make a quick meal of a coelacanth, think again. Even predators tend to avoid these mucus-secreting, oily, smarty oddballs. And due to their gross taste, coelacanths aren't worth much except to collectors and museums, but they do appear on money. They can be found on the Comorian franc, both paper and coin denominations. Up next, the horseshoe crab. It's weird to know this after looking at them, for horseshoe crabs are actually more closely related to rattlers than crustaceans. These living fossils haven't changed much in the last 135 million years, and the first roamed coastal waters was 445 million years ago. Sadly, in one area of Taiwan, one species is already extinct, and that may be just the beginning. Here's some fun facts about the horseshoe crab. Excuse me. Excuse me, damn. Horseshoe crabs have 10 eyes, but their eyesight isn't very good. It's not that they aren't trying though. They can see 1 million times better in darkness than in light. And when a horseshoe crab eats something hard, it crushes meal between its legs before passing it into its mouth, while walking. Up next, the sea lamprey. Although their outer appearance may not be beautiful, the sea lamprey is beautifully designed. Their mouths don't have a jaw, which allow them to attach tightly to their prey and draw blood using their sharp teeth and tongue. They also produce a fluid that stops a victim's blood from clotting, allowing them to feed for long periods of time. And here are some fun facts about the sea lamprey. In order to support their migratory behavior, sea lamprey have adapted to live in both fresh and saltwater environments. And lampreys love to snack on the fish, but they are just likely to become a snack for people in certain countries. Portugal, Spain, and France all fish for them, and you can even find them pickled in Finland. Up next, the ammonite. Ammonite, sorry. They may look similar to the Nautilus due to their shells, but ammonite are more closely related to octopuses than squid. They were actually named for their similarly coiled ram's horns, as the Egyptian god Ammon, or Amen, if I pronounced that right, was depicted as wearing ram's horns on his head. And here are some fun facts about ammonites. In medieval Europe, ammonite fossils with a snake head carved or painted on the empty end would be a solid resold as petrified snakes, and were believed to have healing or other divine powers. And colorful ammonite shells owe their iridescent qualities to the mineral agronite, which is also found in pearls. Where is my mouse? Oh, it's over there. Alright. Up next, the trilobite. The earliest fossil record of this ancient creature comes from 521 million years ago, and the latest was 252 million years ago. That's nearly a 300 million year run. Having been around for so long, it's no surprise that there were a large number of different trilobite adaptations. In fact, over 22,000 different trilobite species have been identified so far. Here's some fun facts about them. As far back as the 1700s, Native American Indians known as Pavant Utes, pronounce that right, would often carry or wear trilobite fossils as protective charms. And some trilobites walked on land. Imagine a foot long or longer trilobite crawling towards you. Yikes. Up next, the Mosasaurus. The jury is still out on whether these giant aquatic reptiles are more related to lizards or snakes, but one thing is for sure. These are some of the largest and longest creatures that have ever existed. Originally confused for a crocodile and later a whale, their true nature as an amphibious species wasn't fully cemented until the early 1800s. Now for some fun facts about this, for the Mosasaurus. Just like the modern-day snake, Mosasaurus had double-hinged jaw and could swallow prey whole. And there are fossils which confirm this actually happened. And according to a 2015 study, Mosasaurus gave live birth in the open ocean. This may explain why few Mosasaurus baby fossils have been found, because they didn't hatch from eggs as once thought. And finally for the ancient fish, the Megalodon. The largest shark and also one of the largest creatures to ever exist. This apex predator would regularly hunt whales and other large underwater creatures to sate its ravenous appetite. Unlike great white sharks that attack from below, Megalodon likely bit straight through shell and bone from above, or even head on. And now for some fun facts about Megalodon. Megalodon teeth over 7 inches long have been found, resulting in estimates of their overall length between 50 feet to over 66 feet long. And prior to Nicholas Steno probably identifying them in 1667, Megalodon teeth were believed to be the petrified tongues of snakes and dragons. Six more left to go. Excuse me. With this one happening bug. And I'm not going to do this one. Next, symbiotic creature. Let's start with this one. The sea cucumber and emperor shrimp. The relationship between the emperor shrimp and sea cucumber is an odd one. Shrimp seem to get most of the deal, including a free ride, easier access to food, and most critically, protection. The cucumber gets the benefit of having parasites eaten out by the shrimp, but if they have none, the relationship is commensal and only beneficial to the shrimp. Here are some fun facts about this combo. Emperor shrimp tend to ride solo, but a companion will occasionally show up and tag along. Sometimes they fight, other times they mate. And the timing is right, the emperor shrimp will sometimes gobble down eggs from the sea cucumber itself. This doesn't seem to hurt their reproductive numbers, but it's still a bit rude to steal a meal like that. The next combo, the cannonball jellyfish and spider crab. It's safe to say that the relationship... Still don't think I'm hearing myself. It's safe to say that the relationship between the cannonball jellyfish and the spider crab is one the jellyfish might not choose if it had a choice. The spider crab enjoys the better end of the deal, getting food and protection from predators. They'll even eat the jellyfish's larvae at times. And now for some fun facts about this combo. Cannonball jellyfish secrete a toxic mucus when disturbed, causing most nearby predators to flee. It can even cause cardiac problems in animals and in humans. And these jellyfish are called Georgia jelly balls. In Georgia, when they're fished and then sent to Japan, China, and Thailand as tasty snacks for the locals. The next combo, anemone and clownfish, again. The relationship between these two only works because clownfish can't feel the sting of anemone. But how? The clownfish have thicker mucus than other fish, which lets them survive stings that would otherwise disable them. They also share bacteria, which tells the anemone that they are dangerous, or likely to be good to eat either. Now for some fun facts about them. Anemones are voracious carnivores and eat fish to survive, but they seem to enjoy the protection clownfish provide, so they eventually stop stinging them. And clownfish are extremely territorial and will attack other fish that want to eat their anemones. They also eat nearby seaweed to keep the light coming down, which anemones need to stay healthy. And finally, the honey guide. The honey guide gets its name rather naturally. They literally guide humans to beehives. They do this in the hopes that humans will get honey from the hives, then leave them open so they can eat the grubs and wax inside. It's quite an odd pairing, but it works well for both parties. Now for some fun facts. There's no way to know for sure, but it's believed that the relationship between humans and honey guides goes back to almost 2 million years. And some hunter-gatherer clans have found over 500% more bee colonies using honey guides than without, making them an incredibly valuable partner. Let's run to rooftop garden. Rooftop garden, if I can speak correctly. I don't think there's anything that needs to be clicked on here, so I'll give this one a few seconds and then move on to the next. Up next, the deadly creatures. something to click on. First, we got the saltwater crocodile. Saltwater crocodiles live in brackish waters around the globe, from India to northern Australia. As the largest living reptile species, they even earn their apex predator status by drowning or swallowing their prey whole. The list of animals they attack varies from sharks and fish to other reptiles, birds, and even humans. Anyone who swims near them is likely to be ambushed and never heard from again. And now for some fun facts about the saltwater crocodile. Female crocodiles are quite large, but males are much larger. Some have grown to over 20 feet long and weigh more than 2,000 pounds. And legend has it that the island of Timor was formed by a giant crocodile, so they're considered holy creatures there. Up next, the electric eel. The electric eel isn't a true eel. In fact, they're mostly closely related to catfish and carp. While other fish can generate weak electric fields to help them navigate and hunt, only catfish and electric eels can deliver electric shocks. They can generate over 650 volts per charge, enough to knock a horse off its feet. Now for some fun facts about electric eels. The study of the electric eel in the late 1700s contributed directly to the invention of the electric battery in 1800. Excuse me. And electric eels grow for as long as they live, up to 8 feet in length, adding more vertebrae to their spinal column as they age. I've seen these things probably a sign on YouTube. Dang. Up next, I'm gonna try my best to pronounce this. Irukandji and box jellyfish. Although they vary great in size, both the tiny Irukandji and larger box jellyfish pack two of the most painful stings in the world. While the box jellyfish stings impacts the body instantly and requires urgent medical attention to survive, Irukandji stings often have a delayed effect, which makes them harder to identify and treat properly. Now for some fun facts about these jellyfish, if I can speak correctly. I've been reading this for a long while, so. The Irukandji sting is said to be 100 times more potent than the cobra venom. And jellyfish sting on contact with skin. Ugh. So sea turtles can eat all the jellyfish they like. They're also protected internally with nail-like protrusions that shield their mouths and help grind down their prey. I think that's it. Yeah, because that's a stonefish, that's a powerfish. Yeah, that's it. Up next, the endangered species. I know this QR code won't work. It's too blurry for the camera. Excuse me. Anyways, back to the main topic. The zoanthus. If only looks to kill, this colorful cluster will need paratoxin to help. You can never be too careful around these caustic corals. Next, the Cania tree. Cania tree grows so well, people often give it away. With no known predators, this adaptable coral is almost impossible to kill. Next, the cabbage leather. If other corals get too close to them, these leafy loungers release a toxic terpene to ward them off. And finally, the xenia. Also known as post corals, xenia are unique for using their quote-unquote hands to push water around them. Up next, we'll learn more about these seahorses. You may be wondering if these little stallions get without their name because of their appearance, and the answer is yes. Each of these 46 seahorse species has a different style of quote-unquote horns on their head to distinguish them from each other. They are poor swimmers and often hang on stationary objects, or in some cases, each other. Now for some more fun facts about the seahorses. A seahorse's eyes can move independently of each other, just like a chameleon's eyes can, and male seahorses carry their babies to term. Their quote-unquote brood pouch can hold a female seahorse deposit of up to 1,500 eggs. And finally, the brine shrimp. You may know them by another name, but there's not an ounce of quote-unquote monkey business happening with these salty seafarers. In fact, brine shrimp are a big deal. They produce tons of dormant eggs, or cysts, that are a major food source for the fish. Now some fun facts about these. Brine shrimp have 3 eyes. Well, at least 2 eyes and 1 extra eye that stops working once they become an adult. And brine shrimp eggs have been taken on several major missions as experiment subjects. Up next, the gifts of the sea. Up first, we're going to learn more about the horseshoe crab. These unusual crabs may resemble a horseshoe, but don't play with them. In fact, they have very serious uses in our world, especially in the medical field. Only 4 species exist today, all endangered due to coastal habitat damage and overharvesting. Now for some fun facts about them. More fun facts. Horseshoe crabs swim upside down. They angle their body and use their arms to move, tilting as they go to steer. And their blood contains cells as amoebocytes, which can detect bacterial endotoxins on medical equipment and even in vaccines. Up next, the cone snail. Cone snails look harmless, which is really what makes them dangerous. All cone snails have a harpoon they can use to strike both predators and prey. and disturbing them may cause them to attack, usually with severe, sometimes deadly consequences. Now for some fun facts about the cone snail. Some cone snails can shoot their harpoon right through protective gloves and wetsuits, and their toxins produced by cone snails have been synthesized to create super pain relievers, up to 1,000 times stronger than morphine. Up next, the anemone. Even without a brain, the humble anemone seems to be quite a smart creature indeed. They're a bit like starfish and can regrow lost limbs, and can sometimes hide their whole body inside their foot when danger strikes. Their ability to adapt may explain why they can be found all over the world in almost any environment. Now for some fun facts about these. The snake-lox anemone is eaten as a delicacy in some countries, and clownfish aren't the only sea creatures that make the anemone their home. Certain species of shrimp do it as well. I'll wait on that one. Up next, barnacles. Though it works in a fundamentally different way than mussels, the wily barnacle adheres to surfaces using sticky protein molecules that repel water and dirt. Scientists copied this pattern to create a medical adhesive that works the same way and can be used to stop bleeding inside the body. And now for some fun facts about barnacles. The barnacle's natural adhesive is actually called barnacle settlement, and although they're usually harmless, it's usually possible for barnacles to attach or even embed themselves in humans. Our next, mussels. Nature is amazing, often providing solutions to major problems we face well before we encounter them. When it comes to sticking in place underwater, mussels utilize special threads to drill past water to reach the surface and adhere firmly to it. Now for some fun facts about mussels. By releasing various proteins and other compounds in a specific order, mussels can fully adhere to almost any surface in 2 to 3 minutes. And synthetic glues that copy the mussel's technique are even stronger, but mussels might not stick as hard as they can in order to avoid being severely damaged if they ever need to break free. Up next, the crystal jellyfish. The crystal jellyfish isn't easy to see, but even when you do, there's far more to it than meets the eye. The groundbreaking green fluorescent protein, or GFP, found in these jellyfish is critical for medical and microbiology research, especially to detect cancer. Now for some fun facts about crystal jellyfish. Crystal jellyfish are usually docile, but they will eat other jellyfish, even their own kind. And their entire body is transparent, including their digestive system, which means you could watch them process an entire meal. Up next, these beauties. First off, the cone snail shell. You'll never be as safe touching a cone snail shell than you will be with this now empty vessel. The nautilus shell. It isn't a perfect golden spiral, but the chamber nautilus is as close to perfection as nature gets. The pearl necklace. No matter how or where you find them, pearls of all kinds are some of the sea's most beautiful gifts. The abalone shell pendant. Some believe this shell carries the energy of the ocean, protecting and strengthening the wearer. Finally, the cowrie shell necklace. Prosperity and good fortune may be yours when cowrie shells hang around your neck. Finally, for this area, the workbench. Scientists all over the world use this equipment you see here and more to do research on many creatures in the sea that have special benefits for humans and scientific advancement in general. These tools assist them in their endeavors, and we likely would not have made as many crucial advancements as we have without them. Here are some fun facts about them. Modern-day mass spectrometers can be the size of a toaster, and microscopes have advanced in so much over the last 100 years that some can now image atoms even smaller than an atom's radius. And finally, the uncompleted expedition Galapagos. There's two things here. Let me click on. Up first, the Galapagos tortoise shell. Even ancient buccaneers will tell you that the Galapagos tortoise was one of the most docile, harmless, and delicious animals ever found in the wild. Ship-faring travelers would often take these tortoises with them on long journeys, both for food and water. Sadly, their general nature has almost led to their extinction. Now for some fun facts about the Galapagos tortoise shell. Charles Darwin's theory of evolution was influenced by these animals, and the Spanish discoverer of the Galapagos Islands named them after this gentle giant, saying they were so big that, quote, each other could carry a man, unquote. And finally, the stingrays, the rays in this one. First, the Galapagos stingray. This plain ray is still quite unique. They generally remain buried in the sand on the sea floor and use electrical receptors in their skin to hunt. Next, the golden cow-nose ray. Usually found on traveling large schools. This ray is constantly on the move and actually resembles birds in flight in the water. And finally, the spotted eagle ray. This ray tends to swim solo, but sometimes will travel in groups. It's their spotted skin that sets them apart from the crowd. Alright. Now that I've gone over well, most of the animals are in this. Now planning to do Under the Ice or the Mediterranean Sea or migratory species. I'm going to tell you why this game is retired from Pogo. If you look to where my mouse is pointing right now, it's pointing to the Jar Bear Games logo. That is an actual company. And Pogo does not own Jar Bear Games. So, yeah. Even though this game has been on Pogo for 7 years. That's right, 7 years. But there is one site that they can play this game on everybody's house from Pogo. Right. It's a shame that this game is going away, but I'm always excited for something new. Especially that potential Match 3 home builder game that they announced. And no, I'm not talking about matching moments that they just released. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. There may not be any more Friends Prim videos. Or any anagrams videos or any Array with Words videos, but if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more Merge Academy, if you want to see Merge Academy Plus, not capping your Pogo Stops, Crazy Kings 2, Wheel of Fortune, Mix and Match challenges, weekly challenges, event challenges, Pogi challenges, and more, subscribe and turn on those notifications, and I'll see you all next time.